Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Down the Line. Ethan, what's the word today? What is the word today?
Yeah, baseball's being played.
Hey, man.
Some teams doing better than others.
Oh, yeah, we don't need to talk about others, bro. We don't need to talk about the others,
Or
man.
we don't need to talk about some.
We... Hey, we're about to have the battle of mid this week. No, not even the battle of mid, like trash versus garbage, bro.
Yeah,
Monday through Wednesday. Oh, Canada Day about to be... It's about to be a movie, but the movie's like The Room. Like,
yeah.
this movie's about to
The,
be
the movie, the movie, the movie has 1.5 stars on Letterboxd.
not even, bro. Not like it's like a 0.5 star rating. Nobody is rating this flick, bro. Nobody is about to rate this series.
It lost $500 million in the box office.
It's got like fucking $500 million budget, like $2 revenue.
Yeah,
Like that's how much we're losing.
I mean, I could have made a better movie than this.
Like we probably could have. Like I'm convinced that my roommate who does not watch ball probably could have made a better flick than this, bro. Like honestly,
Yeah,
could have, bro. But you know what? That actually we'll talk about that actually. So one of the teams that we're talking about, if nobody knows what we're talking about, the Blue Jays are playing the Mets this week, and both teams stink. Especially as of late, both teams are on losing streaks. The Blue Jays have lost 5 in a row. I think the Mets have lost like 6 or 7 in a row.
yeah. So they need to do like a soccer style game here where the loser gets relegated.
So you know what's really funny, Ethan?
Yeah,
Last week I said like low key recently the Mets haven't been all that bad.
yeah,
They proceeded to lose like 7 in a row. they
yeah. I
they
mean,
did not win a game until earlier today. They beat the Phillies 6-2. We were very close to coming into the podcast and saying since then they have not won a game, which insane by the way, insane timing, master jinxer. Like we were
yeah.
talking about Bob Nightingale last week. Listen, I apologize. I apologize. I'm snatching your chain.
I don't think it's your fault the Mets aren't doing well, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
I think there's a little more to it, and you know
yeah, just a little.
that has clearly resulted in them taking some measures. They fired Carlos Mendoza
Yeah,
on Friday, so they. Obviously, it does not take a genius to tell you the Mets are not just they aren't good this year; they are massively underperforming expectations. This was not a perfect roster coming into the season. Let's put that out there. Like clearly, there were things they could improve on, but I think a lot of people would agree this looked like a solid roster coming into the season, especially given how there was some stuff that happened last year, like how bad like some of the bullpen acquisitions were. That like surely that just can't happen a second time. You add everything together and then boom, things are going to be
yeah,
at least just better than they were last year. Not to say that they were going to be like the best team in the NL, but they were at least going to be good, right? They have been far from
yeah,
that. They have been one of the worst teams in the NL, and that's, let's not pussyfoot around it. They have been one of the worst teams in the
right.
NL. Only the Giants and the Rockies have a worse record than them in the NL. You want to expand it to all of baseball, only those two teams, and then the Angels and Royals have a worse record than them overall.
You know what I think the funniest part about it is?
What?
The bullpen has been pretty good this year.
Yeah, there have been,
Like, you can't even use that excuse like you did last year where it's like, oh, the bullpen's just blowing every game.
you can't.
They're giving you good innings. They're like, obviously, it's easy to look and say, like, oh, yeah, they're playing well, but it doesn't matter because they're just, holding the losing result. But,
Mm-hmm.
like, at the end of the day, they're doing their job. They're coming into games. They're not giving up many runs, many hits. They're not really allowing many base runners in general.
Yeah,
But they dig themselves such a hole in the first half of the game that it doesn't matter. Well, by the time the relievers come in, the game's already out of hand most of the time.
yeah, and it's like also what a lot of people would have considered to be one of the better lineups in ball. I wouldn't say it was going to be like a top 5 lineup or anything, but
You would if you were
would
to tell me that this Mets lineup would be bottom 5, I would have said like, okay, it's the Mets, so maybe, but I would have said probably not because of the
I would have looked
talent.
at this collection based off the collection of players. I would have looked at it and said, no way, right? You have Juan Soto, and he's doing his thing this year. Nobody's questioning Juan Soto. He's doing typical Juan Soto things. But they bring in Bo Bichette. They had
Yeah.
Jorge Polanco come in. Who, I mean, not to
I
say
did.
that he's like
Yeah.
revolutionary, but he's solid. He's a good hitter.
That's what I should say. I thought that the problems of this team wouldn't be because guys like Lindor and Bichette don't know how to hit the ball right. I wouldn't have guessed that's why they're playing the way they are.
I would have thought it would have been like maybe their starting rotation is really underwhelming, which I mean to be fair, but I would have thought that would have been the main drawback of the team, and that it would have kind of ended there. Maybe the bullpen would have had some,
but like they're getting some good at bats from the bottom part of their lineup for the most part. Like guys like AJ Ewing, Jared Young. I mean, they're stepping up.
Carson
It's not like you can say that it's Juan Soto's problem either because he's having a very good year. It's just so much more than that.
It's a lot of guys who they would have who they were counting on to do big things. You were counting on Bo Bichette, and I understand he has been better. Like he's been really good in June. We talked about this last week, but overall for the season, his numbers have been subpar. That's there isn't really, despite how good he is in June, that's still the reality of the situation. He for the first 2 months may as well have not been playing. Like he may as well have not shown up until June. It is the same thing for Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty has been very bad this season. Marcus Semien, who, granted, when we talked about this trade when we went down, we said, okay, it's clearly because you want to get off Nimmo's contract. It is, it's not a make me better right now move. And it is proving right now as to why. Marcus Semien is older, his offense is going. It was already going, and it's worse now. He's now a negative win player.
Yeah, and Nimmo, I mean, he's playing well in Texas. Like it's not even like it's where he's playing just as bad. He's been a very solid contributor to that lineup.
Yeah,
and it's really just I don't know exactly
they could
what
use
you
a Brandon
want to
Nimmo
say
right now. I'm not gonna lie, they could fucking use a Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah, I mean the one thing they did well was moving on from Jeff McNeil because he's obviously not really doing anything for the Athletics. But
one of the other things too, I think they were expecting more production this season, like a bounce back from fucking Mark Vientos, and they're not getting shit all from him. They're not getting a damn thing from him.
It also hurts when one of your big acquisitions in the offseason hasn't played since like the second week of April.
Yeah.
In Polanco, and he is starting rehab. I'm pretty sure today even.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read. So obviously when he's back, that's a boost. When Lou Bob's back, that's a boost. Like that's another thing. Lou Bob's another one because I feel like that's just a guy who, I'm not gonna say he's a superstar or anything, but his problem over the past couple of years, for the most part, has been his health. And bringing him in and him getting hurt, it's not like you can look at that and say like, oh wow, how could we have seen that coming? I feel like you could have very well seen that one coming.
I think it really stings when pretty much every single offseason acquisition that they made has blown up in their face. Like you said, Polanco, right?
Yeah.
Even before he got hurt, he wasn't, now granted, it was like 2 weeks, but he wasn't playing well, and that's a guy who, over the past 5 years had been a pretty consistently just good hitter.
Yeah.
They brought in, obviously we talked about Bichette. Freddie Peralta has he was good. His ERA is a little inflated because he had the one 10-run start.
Yeah.
But even so, he was solid, but he wasn't as good as you would want him to be. And Devin Williams, he's been definitely better as of late, but overall his numbers for the season, or at least results-wise, don't look that great. Granted, that was, again, just a really bad first month, but even so, it's still even for the full season as of right now. Besides, Luke Weaver, not a lot of the acquisitions right now look very pretty. And even, Nolan McLean, that was a guy who was really good to start the year, and a guy who, you were looking for some big production, right? He was a straight pumpkin in May. He's been better in June, but he was a pumpkin for a whole month.
Yeah.
He was doing nothing for you. He was it was ugly. And all of this, when you encapsulate it all together, not to mention, I even forgot to talk about Lindor, right? How
Yeah.
He is not giving you anything right now. Now, he was injured for a bit, but even so, he's an 82 WRC plus on the season right now. He's never been lower than 101, and that was even like a down year by his standards. He's been, like, since becoming a Met, he's pretty consistently been like a 125, 130 WRC plus hitter, more or less in that ballpark, right?
Yeah.
And even before that, he was, like a 120-ish WRC plus bat of a few years.
At bare minimum, you expect a 115 WRC plus with like 25 home. I'd say 25 home runs. 110 WRC plus, 25 home runs, like the baseline of what you'd expect. Right now, he's on pace to come nowhere near that. Yeah. And obviously, part of that is due to injury, which is why he's not going to hit the home run total. But as far as the WRC plus goes, you're just not getting the production when he has been healthy.
Yeah, like even this on a rate basis, he's just not doing it. So when you
under 300 OBP, it's not acceptable from a guy making this much money. He's making like $32 million this year. It's just it's not enough.
Yeah, and when you take this many guys who are supposed to be big contributors, right, and they're all underperforming. That is when it all adds up, and you get a team that's, what are they, like 35 and 48 right now?
Yes, they are
35 and 48.
I mean, they're 16 games back of the division, which you could already kiss that one long goodbye. But
yeah, and so it finally resulted in them. Now you remember when they got up to this bad start, like early on in the season. The Mendoza question started coming up. And I think Stearns said something. I don't remember his exact quote, but I think there was some press conference or interview or whatever it was. And he was like, no, like, Mendoza's our guy. Now, obviously, we know GMs lie all the fucking time. And, moves just kind of happen. But now, it gets to a point, and now they're, kicking in the door on Mendoza. What is it, the third managerial firing of the season? I think behind Cora and Rob Thompson, I think was the third one. I don't think there was another one, right? Now, there are some people, right, who would put some of this blame on David Stearns. And I do think that on some level you can say, okay, because, he put together the roster, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But I also sit here and say this, right? I think when you're putting a blame on a GM, I think you need to point out what it is specifically. Like,
you can't just say it's the GM's.
Like, this is where he screwed up, and this is, and if you weren't saying these things when it happened, I think it's kind of shallow to just blame the GM.
Because hindsight's 2020. You could look back and say, oh, wow, this guy's doing good, but no one expected this guy to do good. It's not like he's doing good because he has a good process and he had good peripherals. Like the last season, he just decided to trade him because his numbers weren't the best. It's not like that's what's happening. I will guarantee that everyone, aside from not including the Mets bias of LOL Mets and they always do this stuff. I bet you look at their offseason acquisitions, think, okay, damn, this team's loading up. They got some really good pieces. And guys who, if they went to any other team, people would be praising the moves and saying how much better it's making a team. So it's easy to just point fingers and say it's somebody's fault. And also, I'm not going to say Mendoza's not to blame at all, but like one of his last games, they had like 6 infield errors in a game. How are you going to blame Mendoza or Stearns for that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it gets to a point, like, I don't care. You can blame whoever you want. You could have the worst defensive infield ever configured. 6 errors still isn't going to happen. That's not something that happens because of the way a team's built or a manager. That happens because the team is either just cursed or they're just literally nothing's going their way.
Yeah, and realistically, a managerial firing. Now, we talked about the same thing when the other ones happened earlier.
Yeah.
It is not going to magically flip your season. Now,
no.
We have an example this season of it going both ways. The Phillies got really hot after they canned Rob Thompson, but the Red Sox, it's been like the same course, right? And, we have a little bit of sample for the Mets, albeit it's not very big. They lost 7 in a row after firing Mendoza. Like, they did not win until today. They did not win until today. Or, sorry, not 7 straight after firing him. Like, they were on the lose streak, and then they kept losing. Sorry, I misspoke my words. But, like, I don't really know And like logistically speaking, I understand it. It's just like I guess the thing in sports, like the manager, head coach, whatever, depending on the sport, is always going to be the first like person who gets the blame. They're the scapegoat. At the end of the day, that's just the reality of like most of the situations. But like, I think when you look at it logistically, right? You look at this process of, they're firing their manager after so long, or after, this point of the season, halfway through, and you say to yourself, like, all right, what is this going to do, right? Like, is this magically going to make Marcus Semien hit the ball? Is it magically going to make Mark Vientos in back to his 2024 self? Is Brett Beatty magically going to start playing better?
Is it going to magically turn their lineup into Gold Glove winners?
Exactly.
Like, it's just not how it's going to work. If they do turn it around, it's not strictly because of that. Like, yes, a manager, coach getting fired could light a fire under your ass and kind of tell you to wake up. And yes, it can work like that. But those results in that aspect are temporary.
Yeah, because, listen, there comes a point where that same manager that gets hired after the last one is fired, the cycle repeats itself eventually. The cycle is going to repeat yourself. Unless you're one of those who's basically like immortal, like Dave Roberts is essentially immortal at this point. Whether or not you think he is a good or not a good manager, he has, he's bulletproof over there in LA. But whoever ends up, getting...
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Whoever ends up getting, the next, full-time gig for the Mets, did you see it? Apparently Albert Pujols is, interested in taking the job. I don't know if they offered him, but... they probably didn't yet, and they, just fucking fired the guy. But there was a report that, Pujols was expressing interest in the...
Yeah, I mean, he was interviewing for a couple different teams, I'm pretty sure, in the off-season.
Yeah, before he took the TV gig.
Yeah.
But, whoever the next guy who ends up getting hired for this, right? Eventually, unless you lead to an all-time dynasty or, consistent 90-win seasons, whatever... you're next. You're going to be in the same spot as whoever, as Mendoza was just in. The clock, it's the rabbit clock meme. Your time is coming, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really think that firing I'm not gonna say it's a good or a bad move. I'm not in the clubhouse, so I can't really speak to Carlos Mendoza as a manager. On that front. But, a lot of the time I struggle to see a managerial firing mid-season and being all right, what are you expecting? What are you expecting to happen?
What's best case scenario for the Mets this season, I have to ask. What is the best case scenario going forward?
And,
I don't think it's reasonable to say that, make the playoffs. That's not a reasonable best case scenario. Obviously it is the best case scenario, but...
you're 13 below at, we're almost at the start of July. We're at the end of June right now. You're 13 games under 500. We can't be talking about...
Yeah.
We can't just be talking about playoffs as if that's just, best case. They're damn near 10 out of a playoff spot. That's hard to make up in this point of the season. It's not...
any point of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Any point of the season. But especially given that we're halfway through. It's possible. We've seen it done. But you should don't fucking count on it, because it's probably not going to happen. I bet money it's not going to happen. Right? It's just not. But whatever. We'll see what happens with the Mets. Eventually we'll see if maybe this does light a fire, or if, things continue as everyone probably expects that they're going to continue. But he's not the only person who...
Because I'm just looking at it right now. To get 85 wins, I just use 85 as a baseline because, going 500 isn't going to get you in. 85 is probably the absolute lowest you could sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
They would need to go 50-29 starting tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
It's not fucking happening. Absolutely not happening. But Carlos Mendoza, not the only guy who got fired recently.
Yeah, except some would argue the other firing should have happened years ago.
This one was so... listen, y'all know we never come on here...
What's the point? Why now? I'm curious, why now?
This is true. listen, y'all know we never come in here to disrespect nobody, but this should have happened so fucking long ago. I don't know how it took this long. The Angels finally fucking fired Perry. They fucking finally fired their GM, bro. Finally. After so fucking long. It felt for...
I gotta ask, did you struggle to try to pronounce his last name? You just gave up?
Like semi a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I tried to play it off a little bit. I was hoping
Fair
nobody
enough,
would notice.
fair
I was
enough.
hoping nobody would notice.
It's Manasian.
Manasian? Okay. I didn't want to say that, and then it sounds crazy, and then it's just like...
I know, I heard that. I heard the hesitation.
You knew exactly what it was.
Oh yeah, they finally fired their
GM,
Perry. They
Barry,
fired their GM.
Perry the Platypus.
I mean, Perry the Platypus wouldn't have run the Angels this far under the ground.
No, listen, he would have been cooking in there. They would have got that Perry. They would have been golden. How long, has it been that it's like almost every single move that you see the Angels making, you're just like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah,
it has felt. Because when did they hire? They hired Manasian in what, 20? He's been there since what, 21?
it was after the 2020 season, I believe. After they fired Epler.
Yeah, something around there, him. I think.
And I think the funniest was the fact that they gave him an extension even after the Ohtani stuff. Like, he got an extension last season.
That's crazy because the Ohtani stuff was straight malpractice.
Yes, and he got rewarded. Like, it's just crazy how there are so many guys who are basically blackballed from the league for, the most mundane things. And then you have guys who are actively trying to run their teams into the grounds and they get extensions.
It's crazy because, for the last 5 years, it has felt like 5+, honestly. Honestly, even before Manasian, even with Epler's time with the Angels, it was a little better, but it wasn't great. But it has felt like for the past 5 years plus, it's felt like almost every single move that the Angels do, it's like, what are they doing? There was the fucking Jorge Soler, Griffin Canning one, where it's like, what? Every single move that they do. There was not trading Ohtani. There was trading Edgar Cuero, who was, again, one of the better prospects in the org, for Lucas Giolito, who got, I think they DFA'd him after 3 weeks. There was, trading for, I remember last year at the deadline, they traded for 2 relievers from Washington. I think it was, I can't remember who it was. And I remember we talked about it on here, and we were like, it's not bad, but, why?
I'll just never forget just checking my phone and seeing the tweet where it's like, oh, the Angels are DFAing or releasing or whatever. And Giolito, Lopez, Renfroe, Leon, Grich, just a plethora of players. They're just saying, yeah, how do you look at that and say, yeah, this is who we want running the team. Obviously, it was done for, tax purposes, which is an ownership problem, but just the fact that, that was even something that was allowed to basically happen.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that Artie Moreno was absolved. No, don't worry. I'm locked in on you, bro. You're next, bro. Well, you're not. Well, you can't be fired from your position. But
I just mean next to go from the organization.
Please.
Somebody get us out of here.
Me and one of my friends, literally every single time we talk about the Angels, we're just bro, yeah, we need to get someone needs to get Artie Moreno, bro. Someone needs to get him, bro. Someone needs to get their boy. I'm either get him to sell or tell him to lock the fuck in. Because, it's been bad for, a decade. Because, even going back, pre-Manasian, they haven't been run well for a while. There was some, unlucky stuff in there. The Anthony Rendon situation, that was pretty terrible luck, let's be honest with ourselves. But like,
I mean, everyone was praising the signing. I mean, he's
yes,
one of the best third basemen in baseball at the time.
yeah, and you go Trout, Otani, Rendon. That looked really good, and then he just he was really good for the shortened season after that.
And then he hit that home run left-handed, and it's like, oh my god, this guy's the greatest player ever. And
Exactly,
then
and like hold on, they have the goat, and then it's like
that might have been his last home run. I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm not without fact checking that. I'm gonna say that you're correct. Like I don't care. I don't care if that's factually correct. It's right now. It is. Now it's correct.
I will be fact checking, but it is also another thing is like I like Joe Adele, but not trading him at the deadline last year is such a puzzling
It was
move.
weird because like what are you gonna like what are you expecting to happen right now? You know what I mean?
Like he hit 37 home runs with a sub 300 on base. You really think he's gonna do something like that again?
Yeah, like what are you expecting to get out of him, honestly? And not to mention their track record with developing guys is terrible. They're bad. They're really bad with it. Zach
Yeah.
Neto is good, right? He's pretty good. He's a pretty good player. Joe Adele finally became a guy for them last year, albeit is not quite on the same level this year. You could say, to put it lightly, he's kind of turned back into the Joe Adele from years before when we were saying, "All right, where's the breakout season?" He's kind of turned back into
Yeah.
that player, but like that doesn't help. Like their development has been so bad. Who have they developed? Like who have they? Like it's been like Zach Neto and I guess like Reed Detmers. Like that's it. Who else have they actually developed recently? That's been like, consistently good for them.
Yeah, I mean,
It's those two.
yeah.
Before that,
I
they
mean,
they had
I
a
like
few pitchers in the mid 2010s. When it was like Skaggs,
like
Jerry
Seanwell's
Richards,
doing
but
doing fine, right? Like he's not, doing insane. He's doing all right. Like sure, I'll give you that one, I guess. But like
but it's like, you know, but like they're not developing guys well enough to like actually contribute to winning. And keep in mind, they had the two best players in baseball at the same time. You could
yeah.
argue that they were the only good players on those teams on the years that they were together. You could argue that they were the only good players on that team. I'll be so for real with you. And you know what? You're probably right if you say that. You're probably correct. Because like and you pick any year of like the Trout Otani Angels, who is doing anything besides them? Who is doing anything on
Yeah.
those teams? Like old ass Noah Syndergaard? Hell no. Hell no. Absolutely fucking not. This team has been so poorly ran. I'm so glad that they got this fucker out of here, bro. I'm so glad they got him out of here. Artie Moreno, you gotta you gotta get out of here too, bro. Give the reins to somebody else as owner. Sell the team. Just give someone your position. I don't care, bro. Just get up out of here. Like I'm not an Angels fan. I have no like how the Angels do. I have no stake in it, right? But they piss me off as an org, bro. Now, partially that's because
Yeah.
they just completely wasted the prime of like, the greatest player of his generation. And then wasted, the two best players in baseball playing together. Just completely wasted it and just pissed it away. But, like, I need y'all to lock in, bro. I need y'all to lock in. I feel really bad for Angels fans because, like, what have they had to be excited about over the past? Okay, that's a crazy statement because they had Otani and Trout, but like, besides two individual players, like, what team stuff have you had to be excited about in the past 10 years?
I'm looking
Absolutely nothing.
In the last 10 years, only one Angel has put up a 4 F4 season aside from Otani and Trout. And do you know who that is in terms of hitters?
What year is it?
17 and 18.
17 and 18? Was it Justin
I'll
Upton?
give you a hint. They didn't do it because of their bat.
Oh, it was Anderson Simmons. Duh.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Like, so, and like some of these names on like some of their higher WAR totals like per season in this like time frame are guys like, you know, David Fletcher, who's basically a designated fielder. Guys like Brandon Drury, who weren't really key contributors, just kind of, you know, journeymen late into that tenure.
David Fletcher
Cole Calhoun.
David Fletcher is better known for randomly baseball Twitter got his name trending for a night. Than
Yes,
actually
that
hitting
was
the baseball.
awesome.
I was there. I was part of it.
So was I.
But like, yeah, man.
He is, believe it or not, he actually has the same amount of night being like on Twitter's trending as he does seasons with the WRC plus over 100.
That's diabolical, bro.
And he played like 7 seasons in the league.
That's diabolical as fuck, man. Hey.
It's okay. We're not here to you know shit on David Fletcher, because David Fletcher is a very good fielder for the most part. You know, like he definitely had some years like
he was good at what he did.
Where it's like
he was good at.
That's the thing. He did his job.
He did his thing. He did what he was asked to do.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault that he's
exactly.
bad.
He did what he was asked to do. It is much more an Angels issue of everybody on, like, they just haven't, you know what I mean? Their signings have been pretty poor. Their trades have been bad, whether it's the things they do, the fucking weird ass, like, kind of buy deadlines that they do when they should be just hard selling. Not capitalizing on Ohtani's value when your team was going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. Also, Taylor Ward is playing very well, and Grayson Rodriguez is not. Who could have seen that one coming?
Crazy.
Grayson Rodriguez isn't even playing because he's always hurt, and they trade away one of their best hitters for it. Like, it's just so many puzzling decisions. Like I just. It's not easy to build a winning team. It's not.
It's not. It's a hard thing because you're going up
But
against
it's
29 other
also, but
GMs
it's
who try to do the
also
same thing.
not. It's also hard to see some of the talent you have in like Trout, Ohtani, and then decide not to do anything about it.
It's one thing, right? If you kind of do the AJ Preller thing, where you're always fucking like balls deep in it, and maybe you probably overpay a decent amount of the time. But like you have a good collection of talent on your roster, and you're at least getting some kind of results out of it, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
Right. It is a complete other one, because do you remember this was like it happened so much in like the mid to late 2010s, where every single year the Angels would like not really do much in the offseason. They would sign like one guy who like was good like maybe 4 years prior to like a 1-year deal, and every single season everyone would go, the Angels might be sneaky good this year. It happened like maybe I want to say they started it in like 2017, and then it probably happened almost every year that they had Ohtani.
Like, they were so sneaky good that no one still has been able to see them be good. That's how sneaky they are.
They would win like 75 games, like clockwork. They
Total,
would do it.
Basically, like not even that's what it feels like.
They did it like it was every single offseason, like clockwork. Everyone would go, the Angels sneaky good offseason. They might make a wild card team this year. Dark horse for a postseason team, and they just be dog shit every single year, like fucking clockwork. You see the guys on MLB Network on Twitter do the same thing. It was everywhere, every single year, and it didn't stop until Ohtani finally fucking got up and left. That they finally stopped predicting these bullshit ass fucking like sneaky win totals from the Angels, and they finally just admitted, yeah, this team's horseshit. Like,
and you know what the craziest part about all this is too? Their farm system is depleted. It's terrible. Like, it's not like it's like, okay, just a couple more years and then you have a bunch of studs coming up. No, they can't draft or develop, it seems like.
No, because they can't do fuck all. Like, it's bad. When we say it's bad, like, it's worse than we can probably actually put it. Like,
Yeah.
their player development is bad. Just their raw talent in their farm system is bad. Their talent on their major league roster is bad on both sides of the ball. Like, it's really fucking bleak out here. I don't know. Now, this does beg the question. So I think we've gotten a lot of our Angels-related frustrations out of the way. And I do want to ask the question, and you kind of asked us right when we started talking about it, is why now? Like, what now was the tipping point? Like
middle of the season, I mean, I see both, the positives and negatives. Positives being now you could kind of have somebody, you could, take this time to actually find who you want next. You have the whole rest of the season basically, but also at the same time, you're kind of letting someone else's vision play through when they're not even there, and the vision's not good. It's not like you're continuing a good vision. It's just, I wonder what happened that made them stop and say, you know what, it's time.
Especially considering they extended him so recently, because it was at some point in 2024, like 2 years ago, that they extended his contract, right? So you gave him another 2 off seasons, right? After he had already had like 4 or something. I don't know what the math is. Something like that. Like 4 off seasons, 4 deadlines, whatever. And he kind of showed you that he was already not good at his job. And then you gave him 2 more. You extended him, and after 2 more, you said, all right, this isn't the guy anymore. Now, again, I'm all on board with getting him out of here, because I don't think that he's done very well with the Angels. I think he's done a pretty bad job. I'll be very blunt. But what, like, that something had to have happened in there where they were like, all right, like, enough is enough, right? But I really want to know what that was.
If I had to, like, wonder, like, really, like, throw out, like, a kind of crazy guess, maybe it was something along the lines of, like, him wanting to make a move or something. I don't even want to fully blame him, just because, like, the Angels haven't been one to necessarily, be big spenders.
True.
So it very well could have just been a thing like, hey, I wanna, do what I wanna do, this, do that, maybe bring in some more contracts, like, in the offseason, whatever, and, like, his plan didn't align because he wanted to spend money, but it just seems unlikely because they have spent money just in wrong spots.
In dumb ways. They can spend, they're not top dog spenders, but they can spend, but they're good at it. They're pretty dumb with their money.
I mean, I really don't understand that Tyler Anderson contract still. But Tyler Anderson was like the biggest name free agent pitcher they brought in during the Ohtani and Trout era, it seems like.
Yeah, or like anything around that even. Like it was bleak, man. But yeah, I do wonder what like the catalyst for actually doing it was, because like the Ohtani stuff had already happened by the time they extended him. Like they saw all that happen and they said, we're going to extend your contract.
Yeah, because that was middle of the season in his first year with the Dodgers.
Which is crazy, by the way. Crazy that they saw that and they said, yeah, you're our guy.
And you can't even make the excuse of like, oh, he brought Ohtani in, so maybe he has like an in. No,
he wasn't even there.
Ohtani was already there when he got the job. So it's, I don't know. I mean,
you inherited
it definitely
the 2 best players in the league, and you lost one of them. And the other
every executive in sports dreams of an opportunity like that, to inherit a team where they have the 2 best players in the sport. And it's not even like you can make an argument that neither of them are top 5 or whatever. They were easily both top 5 minimum.
Yeah, like
minimum.
When he would have got there, which would have been, I think, after the 2020 season, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was still calling Trout the best player in the league, which at the time he was. I don't really think, there's really no way around it. At that point, he was the best player in the league still. You ask anyone around that time, that's what they were telling you. And Ohtani wasn't like all-time great level Ohtani that we currently know, right?
No.
But he was still hitting really well. When he did pitch, albeit not very often, he was kind of effective. And again, not very far removed from everyone calling him Japanese Babe Ruth
Yeah.
as his like player comp coming into the league. Not very far removed from that, by the way. Like, let's just put it out there. That is the situation that you inherit. Anyone would be salivating at that opportunity. People would probably kill for that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because that is an opportunity that you are never going to... Like, nobody's ever going to get an opportunity like that again.
The two best players in the league are never just going to fall in your lap. It's like, even the best executives isn't going to make that happen.
Exactly.
It's something that's just so rare and it's so random. Like, it's not like it's like it's something that happens every day. I mean, imagine having the top. Like, you have to have the players, first of all, or be able to get them.
Mm-hmm. And then all you have to do is just build a good enough team around it that they can just make the postseason. Which, again, building a winning team is hard because you have 29 other GMs that you got to work with, and there's a whole bunch of them that are trying to actively, currently push for a World Series title, right? I'm not going to act like a walk in the park. What? I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all 29 are going for it right now, but
fair.
I'm saying a good chunk of those. You want to say 10?
Can you safely tell me in his 5.5, 6 years, whatever, in LA that he was actively trying to win a World Series? I don't know if I can safely say that.
No. Hold on. No. What I'm saying is that a good chunk of the. I'm just saying what a good chunk of the other GMs are trying to do. Right? They're trying to go for a World Series right now, and even so, you're going against 29 other GMs, right? So I'm not saying I'm just saying it's not an easy task, but to squander it this bad, is like
the thing is we're not even saying that they had to have won a World Series to be considered somewhat successful. They make the fucking playoffs once.
Did they even finish above 500 at all? Did they even win 82 games once, like since he got there? I don't think they did. I think maybe they won like 80 games one year, maybe. I don't even know if they did that. I'll be so for real with you.
They did not. The last time they won 80 games was 2018. The best under Perry was 77 and 85 in 2021.
Yeah, like that's bad. That's awful.
I'm literally looking at their results right now, and all I see: Ohtani MVP, Trout MVP, Shohei Rookie of the Year, Trout MVP. Make the fucking playoffs once, dude.
Literally,
once.
Like, you have this happening. Like, you literally have like a gold mine. Like, this is
the wild card. Get swept in the wild card series, whatever. Make the ALDS, get swept in it, whatever. Make it. Just make it, dude. Once. That's not an insane ask.
Imagine somebody inherited, like as a GM, inherited the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, and they just never made the postseason.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what happened.
Basically what it is.
Albeit it's hard to do in a baseball, but like it's the closest equivalent that we're gonna get. You know, like it's bad. But yeah, interesting stuff there. But anyways, they hired former Cardinals Polo John Mazalek. I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm not the greatest with names, in case you guys couldn't tell.
Neither is Perry.
Clearly. Yeah, he's the interim GM right now. He's going to assist in also finding the next GM. Hopefully he does a bit of a better job this deadline and actually chooses like a fucking direction for the team and does what's
luckily for him it's worse.
Sorry?
Luckily for him it's hard to do worse.
It like the bar is pretty low. Like I honestly think in order to do worse he'd have to actively try to do worse.
You would have to just say, "Oh, Mike Trout, you don't want to trade or anything. Well, guess what? You're getting like DFA'd or something."
Like they released Trout.
Yes. Which if someone even thinks of that, it's getting shot down immediately.
I'm not even kidding. I think just the suggestion alone is fireworthy.
Maybe that's what he said. Hey, I think we should move Trout.
we should release him. Already said, get the fuck up out of here.
You think it's a fucking joke?
You think it's a game? You think shit's sweet around here? The fuck
Dude,
out of here.
we have a team. We have an image we need to uphold. We need to hit our quota of 70 wins this season, dude. We can't be getting rid of Trout.
Exactly. Like you can't be having me do that. Hell no. Yeah, hopefully things go a little bit better for the Angels this deadline. They actually do something smart instead of doing things that leaves everybody scratching their head. Um,
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. We have a little bit of an update on the CBA front. So there was two latest proposals. Well, that's really terrible wording by me. But there were two new things that were proposed. So one from each side. We'll talk about the first one that dropped. MLB proposed, so obviously we know they're fighting for salary cap stuff, right? We know this was happening. Yeah. MLB officially proposed like contract limits, so limits on years and how much money you can get. So, in theory, a max free agent, like a max contract that a free agent could sign with a team would be a 5-year, $202 million contract. So, the big thing on this is not the money, because like if you're signing a 5-year deal, you're probably not signing $200 million. There are the exceptions, like the Kyle Tucker stuff. The big thing is the well, even
like
so,
obviously that. Well, I'm just saying just because the AAV, per like A wise,
yeah, true,
that
true,
was
true. But usually if you're breaking the 200 million, it's more so because of the term, which is the big.
It's usually like a 10-year deal or something.
Yeah, like 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. But yeah, like this is the big one's the length, right? Now, obviously the total money would have to correspond to whatever the length is, but the length is the big thing. So free agents would not be able to sign more than a 5-year contract unless they're signing an extension with the team that they're currently with. Which, if they were going into free agency, they could sign a 6-year deal. What's up?
What would the loophole? Like, would there be like a sign and trade loophole? Like, you can trade for the rights to a player who's not under contract and then extend them for longer. Like, you could say, hey, we'll give you like I don't know. I'm just gonna use Bo as an example because let's pretend he opts out. Like hypothetically, if the CBA was in effect right now with that limit, let's say the Tigers want Bichette, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to be able to get him for terms so they can lower the AAV a bit, get him for, let's say, like a 7 or 8 year deal. Could they call up, like, in the beginning of the offseason, whatever, call up the Mets, be like, hey, we want, like, the so-called rights for Bo Bichette. Like, we want him on our unofficial payroll, so technically on the team. We'll give you, like, this player a prospect just so we can sign him for longer. Would that be like a thing that could happen?
I think realistically what would probably happen is you would have the play, like you would agree to the trade to like get the player, but they would sign the extension before the trade goes down.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
like
kind of like a regular like sign and trade, like you said. Like
so if it'll be that easy to manipulate, why even implement it?
It doesn't really do anything. Like like you can't really do it on the active market, I guess. Well, actually, no. Assuming I'm understanding you right, actually, you can. So it wouldn't really do anything, really. My big thing, right? Anyone who's listened to any part of the podcast, obviously, you know that we are very obviously anti-salary cap. In my opinion, a salary cap is one thing. I don't like a salary cap. I don't want a salary cap anywhere close to the sport. But a salary cap on its own is one thing. I do not like the idea of limiting like the years and money that can be on a single contract. Now, here's why I say that, right? You see what happens in basketball a lot of the time, right? And let me know if it's like the same thing in hockey. You would understand this part better than I do. You see how in basketball, like every player that's just like, pretty good, like even like a fringe all-star, they instantly get a fucking max deal with their team.
Yeah.
Now, also, I understand that baseball rosters are a lot bigger. I'm kind of worried that the same thing is going to happen in baseball. And,
Here's why it's bad. It's because the top players are still going to make their money, and it's just going to be like the other players that are making even less.
What's going to happen is that middle class of players, right? Those players who are, like, good, but, like, not, like, super great, right?
Yeah.
What happens in basketball is those types of players will fucking go and instantly, they'll make they'll barely make one All-Star game. They're gonna say, I want a max contract, and they're gonna get it because that's just the way it works, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is in basketball, at least, think about all of the top players that have like switched teams as of like in the past like however many years, right? They've almost all been by trade because you can't fucking do it in free agency, right?
Yeah.
Like they doesn't happen. Like Giannis was traded, Kevin Durant's last two like were trades. You know what I mean? Like James Harden, like it's just a thing. Like these guys just don't these like really high level players, they do not move via free agency, they move via trade. And what's going to happen if you impose a salary cap and max contracts like this, you are going to get that same effect where teams are capped the fuck out, and so the top players are not going to be able to sign wherever they want to go. If I'm a free agent and my only destination is Colorado, and they've been garbage at everything for the last decade, I'm not going to fucking sign there, even if it's my only option. I understand that, like, the mentality of this is why we want the cap, because we want players to kind of end up maneuvering to these teams, but you know what's going to happen? They're just not going to fucking sign in these places. If my only option is to go to Colorado or go back to where I'm going, I'm not going to go to fucking Colorado. Right? Like, it's just not going to fucking happen. And so what you're going to effectively do is you're going to completely just neuter free agency. Free agency is going to be completely neutered.
Then I have to ask something.
What?
Are we going to see some teams like what if a team like in the NPB who doesn't have rules like this in effect decide like, hey, you know what? They're always, it's the opposite of, obviously not great players who go overseas, and it's like usually the other way where the good players go from the NPB there. Could an NPB team just say, hey, you know what? This guy's not going to get anywhere close to what we can give him because of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get him on our team over here, and then you have more players who are kind of in their prime or better, like obviously not superstars, but players who are good moving overseas. Is that like a possibility?
Yeah.
Do you think?
I never thought about it, but like I think it's possible. I don't think I think if you said it to a lot of people, I think they would be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous." But I don't think it's nearly as crazy as it like would on first. Like,
because I'm not saying a guy like a top free agent like a Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker from this last.
And we're also not saying that it's going to constantly happen.
Yeah, but like a guy who would probably make because of the new rules would be making like $1.5-2 million. What if an NPB team says we'll give you $5 million a year for like 2 or 3 years? Why wouldn't they take that?
Yeah,
double the money.
Yeah, I don't think it can be ruled out. I don't think you can rule it out whatsoever. But yeah, this one really worries me. Like the salary cap on its own is one thing. I don't like it. I don't want it near the sport. But on its own, it's like it doesn't completely ruin everything. It makes things objectively worse, in my opinion. But it isn't in danger of like completely neutering the transactions as we know it. I think doing this kind of max contract thing is like would literally completely kill free agency as a whole. Like I'm dead serious when I say that. It would completely fucking neuter free agency. Fully fucking chop its fucking cock and balls right off. Completely fucking neutered. Tubes are tied and everything. Like we're not getting fuck all from free agency if this goes through. It's not going to magically make people go to the Pirates, because you know what also happens in the NBA? The small market teams who have those good but not great players, they overpay the shit out of them so they don't leave. Yeah. So you're going to have like those fringe all-star level players be making max contracts because a team like the Pirates or the Reds doesn't want to lose them. Like they're scared of losing them to a team like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Mets.
Yeah, and then a team that doesn't spend as much is going to be spending because they have to spend in ways that they are handicapping.
Exactly, because this is the exact thing that happens in the NBA. Tell me, who's lining up to go? Tell me, who's lining up to go to the Hornets? Who's lining up to go to the Jazz? Fucking nobody. Besides that max contract the Hornets gave LaMelo Ball, who now got traded, by the way. Like, they gave a big contract to, like, a washed Gordon Hayward, who, like, wasn't even that good with the Celtics. And that was, like, their biggest move in how long? I don't know.
Yeah.
But what you would see is you would effectively see the same thing happen in baseball. Right? Like, if you thought numbers were inflating, they're going to trickle right down. And then, those, 3-win players are going to get max deals. And when they're on, smaller market teams, they're going to overpay the shit out of those players just to keep them. Just because they can't afford to lose them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going to happen. Right? And I do, the one thing that you hear, echoed a lot is, well, the small market teams have no chance at keeping their players. However, if you look at a few examples in the league, you can understand that this is literally not fucking true. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be a Royal at minimum until he's 30, assuming he opts out of the contract. Which, even so, you have him. That means you have him for nearly a decade. The Pirates have Connor Griffin locked up for 9 years. J-Ram is never gonna fucking leave Cleveland, probably. And that's Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Those are, some of the 3 horsemen of, small market. You can keep your players if you fucking pony up and pay them. Like the Royals did with Bobby Witt Jr. when they gave him his fucking bag. That is all you have to do.
Don't you think it's kind of contradictory now that, you want these teams to spend and then they finally spend, and now spending like that is going to hurt them?
Yeah. That is all we're asking for. Lock in and just pony up. You can keep your guys if you just pay them. And again, we talked about this, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. Every single team could run a $200 million payroll, and you are not going to convince me otherwise.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not going to say $300, $400, $500 million payroll, because that's pushing it. But
300 everyone could, but 200 is feasible for every team too.
Yes. 200 easy. That should not be.
There's no
200 is not up for discussion.
There's no reason to not be spending that much unless you're a team that's building and all your players are making league minimum, or your best players are prospects, stuff like that.
Or you're actively rebuilding.
Yes.
Which that stuff makes sense. But if you're trying to be good, you can easily go out and get who you need, and you can run up a $200 million payroll. Every single team in the league can't afford to do that. I'm not having that discussion. That is not up for discussion. Unless the owners want to open the books and prove otherwise, which they won't, because they know that will be proven correct.
And if an owner can't spend $200 million on a payroll, you shouldn't be owning a sports team.
Yes, also considering that team valuations are ballooning like a motherfucker. I saw someone on Twitter try to say that that's not the case, and everyone in the replies was jumping on, being like, are you stupid?
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean, real, because that's a dumbass take. But, yeah, man. That's what I have to say about that. Aside from the fact that, the max contract proposal, obviously it would, it doesn't really take an expert to say that it would change free agency drastically, just in how we see contracts happen. For example, Juan Soto was 3 years, what was it, $750, $760, something like that? I don't remember the exact figure. Something like that. That's almost 4 times what the max value would be, and 3 times what the years is. And we see both of these get broken routinely. Just this past offseason, right? Dylan Cease. I think Ranger Suarez signed, what was it, a 5-year deal or was it a 6-year deal? I think it was 6.
I'm not fully sure, to be honest.
Maybe it was 5. But even you see these ones
130.
Yeah, you see these ones broken all the time. I don't feel like going through all of them just off the top of my head, but you can go through every offseason. You can see at least once, usually multiple times, of at least one of these being broken. I know Bregman was 5 years. Whatever. But this is routinely broken, right? Both of these are blown past. I do think that I don't think that even if a salary cap and a max contract thing does happen, it's not going to be 5,200. Like, it's going to go up because the players are going to say, all right, if we do a salary cap, which I don't really know if they would budge on anyways, they're going to say, you're not capping us at 5,200. They're not going to, even if they let a salary cap happen, they're not going to let themselves get capped like this.
No.
Absolutely fucking not. Now, granted, obviously this number is corresponded to the cap number that the owners gave, which was, I think, 245. But, that is what it is. But that's not the only proposal. And you know what? This next one that I'm about to say, I actually do not think that there is any ethical reason why this should not go through. I'll be so for real with you. Now, obviously, this is a very clear response to some things that have happened in the sports world in the last couple of years. I'm looking at you, Cleveland, and two of your pitchers who are let's just say they're under surveillance, they're under investigation, shall we say. So Major League, the Players Association, they want to ban all MLB related prop bets, aiming to combat harassment from disgruntled gamblers. That was the tweet from Jeff Passan. Now, when I saw this,
that change would save me money.
I was, I was like, damn. I was a fan, and I am, right. So, what this would do, this would ban all prop bets that would, on individual players placed before or during a game and such, right. And it would also you wouldn't get the odds for like a player to hit a home run or do this or whatever, right. Now, obviously, this is a very clear response to, the Class A Luis Ortiz thing, right? And, not to say that they're the only ones that have done it. And it's, there's other cases across the other sports leagues, right?
Yeah.
It's happened. Honestly, with that aside, I'll be so serious. I don't see an ethical reason why this doesn't get put through. I think that more than anything, I think that this is kind of a strong arm on the owners, and this is what I mean when I say this. If the owners say no to this, right? Because a lot of people, when they see the owners proposing like salary cap and max contracts and all that stuff, the big thing they say is competitive balance, right? That's the big thing that they all say, right? Which I think anyone who is any sort of familiar with the way that any sort of Western economics operate, that these guys are not ethical human beings. Basically what they're saying here is, all right, that's what you're interested in. You're all about ethics and being good and, this and that and fair. Accept this then. Because now what they're pretty much doing is they're saying, if the owners say no to this, that they're just want to limit their fucking how much they have to spend and, maximize the total that they bring in. Which on its own sounds like basic business, but when you get to a certain threshold of how much money you bring in, it gets to a point. But yeah, if basically what I think this is more than anything, and I honestly have nothing to back this up, I'm solely just going off vibes. I think that this is more than anything, like a leverage thing, right? It would be good for the league, I think. It'd be, I think it would be better. But it's also like if the owners say no, it's like I think the players kind of get a bit better PR. And then if the owners do say yes, then great. And then it goes through. Yeah, I'm not going to... I don't really think it's worth talking about the responses to each proposal because you know exactly how it's going to go. It's the same thing every time. The Players Association was like, this is bullshit. And the owners are blah, blah, blah. This is whatever. They've been echoing the same stuff since the bargaining stuff has started. I don't really think the responses are worth even talking about at this point.
Yeah,
because it's.
I do want to talk about the gambling thing though.
Mm-hmm.
So we see this in sports or gambling is like it gets to a point because the problem is so much more than just some players betting. It's the fact that you can't watch a game without any sporting event without being infiltrated with them. It'll show like the live odds. Sometimes when a guy's, at bat, it'll be like, oh, odds to hit a home run. Sometimes it'll be like, and if it's a UFC fight or something, it'll show live odds for the fight. It shows odds every chance they get. Everything's about betting because it makes money.
Hmm.
And but the leagues are perfectly fine with this, and they allow this to happen, and they see no issues. But then once players start gambling, that's when the issues. They can't be surprised, can they? Like,
Can't be.
it's being shoved in their throats. And here's the one that I always look back at, that's a joke. And it was a hockey player named Shane Pinto, Ottawa Senators, right? He got suspended for gambling, and he wasn't even gambling on hockey. He was just betting. I forget the exact rules, but he was like proxy betting, which means like he asked a friend to do it for him because the state or whatever he was currently at didn't have betting, or like he wasn't allowed to. I forget the exact rules, whatever. But he was suspended 41 games for it, right? Do you want to know the funniest part?
What is it?
Do you know what they have on their helmets?
They have gambling ads on their helmets, don't they?
A 99 ad.
Fuck off. Fuck
Like,
off.
you're gonna suspend a player who's forced to wear a helmet with a gambling ad for gambling on something that's not even hockey. Like, if you're actively betting on the league and your own team and stuff like that, sure. But like, if a guy's betting on a football game, does that really fucking matter? I mean, let's be real. Like, yes, I wouldn't want my players gambling, big money on stuff. But first of all, we don't even know if it was big money, and second of all, it wasn't hockey, so who cares?
Mm-hmm.
It's only an age, like, you can't pick and choose when it's fine to promote gambling and when it's not okay. You can't. It's either good or it's bad. You can't shove it down everyone's throats and then say, oh, but players aren't allowed to gamble because gambling is wrong. Either outlaw it where you can't bet on your own sport, or just stop shoving it down our throats every commercial break, every little thing that happens in a game, make it about betting. Like, one or the other.
Yeah, because like with the way that it is right now, it's like they're trying to have it both ways. Like they want all of these, like, as many things that you can bet on as possible, obviously because they just want people to bet more to get more money. But then again, I'm not saying that players are in the right for betting on these things, like they're idiots, but also I don't think that you can be surprised when you are pushing it this much. Like, as much as they are. Like, on, like you said, on commercial breaks, there's, all right, here's these odds and blah blah blah, here's this, here's, these picks. You see all the different, like, creators that are like, here are my picks for the game, and right, even the analysts.
You watch a Blue Jays game in center field, 3/4 of the time there's a score bet ad.
Exactly, right? And again, I'm not saying that I'm not saying the players are in any way in the right who like partake in that, like, like Clase and Ortiz, right? If to assume that stuff would be true. If you were to assume that it would be, I'm not saying that those players are in the right. Those guys are idiots, right? That's like you're dumb to do this because you know the consequences. But I don't think that as league officials that you can be surprised that it happens. You cannot be shocked.
Another thing is that gambling could be considered an addiction, right? Like, it could be like a mental health thing. It's more so than just, I'm just gonna place a bet. Like, why when a player is, addicted to something such as like alcohol or drugs, they get put in like a certain program and get all the help they need, but when it comes to gambling, they don't get any help from the league. It's, you're suspended, fuck you.
Yeah, I honestly, you're right. I fucking love that you said that because it is a real thing and it's not really treated as such either.
So many people gamble, and it's not because like they just want to have fun, do it for fun. Because there are so many people, including me, that just gamble like money that I just, like a little bit of money just for fun because I like watching sports, and it's like, oh, you know what, if this happens, cool. I am somebody that I can admit that I am not, like, obviously I'm not addicted in a way that a lot of people are, where they're, putting their entire paychecks on stuff just for the feeling, just so they can make any money, whatever. But like, it is so easy to get addicted to gambling, to anything for that matter. It could be something that they acquired while being in the league, from before they got into the league, whatever. And it's so, like, why is this stigma different for a gambling addiction than it is for other addictions? Like, people will see someone who's addicted to, let's say, a drug, and they'd be like, oh, like, we gotta help them, whatever. And like, obviously that's a good thing. You want to be able to have support, support in place.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to gambling, it's not like, oh fuck, you're going through a lot. This is hard that you're dealing with. You're gonna get help. It's, oh, you're a degenerate.
Yeah, it's not really treated in the way that it should be at all. And I do
No.
think that somewhere in, like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be suspended for it, like,
Right.
but I'm saying somewhere in there, add, like, some sort of, like, rehabilitative program, for guys who actually get suspended, which I would have loved if that was part of the proposal. By the way, it's not, but I think I would have loved if it was.
Like, if you do something like Class A does, like that, you're not gonna have a very strong case for people to feel sorry for you.
You're not.
And that's not to say that, like, he might not have like a gambling addiction or something, and like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve help for it, but I could see why, a team or like the league would not want them representing them anymore going forward. Like, that makes sense. But it just kind of seems like they don't care as a whole about, players who have addiction to gambling. It's more so the fact that they don't want them to gamble rather than they want them to get help for this problem.
Yeah, and they don't want it to, like, tarnish the league's image as if they're not fucking constantly shoving it down everybody's throats. Or then acting surprised when shit goes sideways. It's like, no, like, brother, you made the sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of thing. I don't really know if there's that much more to say on it. To be honest, I think we kind of knocked it all home on that one. So, I guess that is...
I mean, we'll obviously talk more when more stuff gets proposed and talked about.
As things happen, which, we'll talk about those, but... I think on this specific thing, I don't really think that there's too much more to talk about when it comes to that. But we have an update here. So last week we did our All-Star... We put out our own All-Star ballots, relative to, when we did it, obviously. We have All-Star finalists now. So on Friday, the league announced who... all the finalists were, right? They announced who were the top vote getters at that point, all that stuff, right? Yeah. So the final, I'm pretty sure it's all the guys who were the top two before. So like, for example, in the AL, your finalists for catchers, Shea Langeliers and Alejandro Kirk. Your first baseman are Vlad Jr. and Ben Rice. Your second baseman, Ernie Clement, is just straight up the starter, by the way, because he got the most votes in the AL, which is shocking, by the way. I'm not going to lie. Shocking.
Yeah. But also at the same time, I feel like it's not that shocking because that is such a weak position in the sense of, like,
it is. And
the best second basemen, it feels like, are in the NL.
Yes.
And Ernie Clement is someone that, like, people voted not just, like, I'll give you the other ones, like Vlad, Kirk, sure. But, like, Ernie's one where people are complaining about, it's like, I don't know how you can really complain about that one.
No, I think that one's fair. I don't think he would have been... He wasn't my pick because I picked Duran.
Right.
Like, I can't really say that this one's that outlandish. I think Kirk and Vlad are... And I think there's, like, 4 Blue Jays on here that I think are absolutely ridiculous. Vlad, Kirk, Jimenez, and Springer. I think those ones are absolutely ridiculous. But, like, the Clement one is, like, the one where it's like, okay, I don't really think that's the one where you get to complain, right? Now...
Yeah.
On one hand, we do know that Blue Jays fans like to show out. We remember Josh Donaldson setting the record for most All-Star votes. We remember that. Which is a crazy number, by the way. Was it like 13 million or something stupid?
It was something crazy.
Something ridiculous. But yeah, so even if you go past that, Kaz Okamoto, Junior Caminero, they were finalists for third base. Shortstops, it was Bobby Witt Jr. and Andres Jimenez. DH was Yordan Alvarez and George Springer. And then for outfielders, it was Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Byron Buxton, Cody Bellinger, Dalton Varsho, and Jesus Sanchez. Those are all of your finalists in the American League. And then in the National League, you have Drake Baldwin, Will Smith at catcher, Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson at first, Ozzie Albies, Bryson Stott at second, Max Muncy, Alec Boehm at third. Shortstop is CJ Abrams and Mookie. And then your outfielder finalists in the NL are Andy Pages, Brandon Marsh, Ronald Acuna Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, Juan Soto, and Michael Harris. So, there is a little bit of like retreading ground from last week, but we'll talk about some things, right? Number one, the top vote getters in both leagues. So it was Ernie Clement in the AL, and then in the NL, it was Shohei Ohtani. So those guys are guaranteed to start in the All-Star game. Which is very funny when you think about it, that, you know, think of all the players in the American League, right? All the great players who are having, you know, great years, right? You got Ben Rice, you know, you have Nick Kurtz, you have Bobby Witt, you know, Jordan's having a great year. You know, Buxton's having a great season. The guy with the most votes is Ernie Clement. Shout out to bro. Him and Ohtani, bro. Shout out. Listen, you gotta respect it. You have to respect it. Now, there's some things here that are outlandish. We're not going to retread all the Blue Jays vote talk, because, I mean, we talked about it a lot, like, last week.
Yeah.
But some of these ones, there's some really bad ones in the NL, I'm not going to lie. The Ozzy Albies Bryson Stott one is tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I can't lie, because there's probably, like, 5 second basemen in the NL who deserve to be there over those two. Like, Bryce Terang, Luis Arias, Brandon Lau, JJ Weatherholt, Xavier Edwards. You can even argue still Ketel Marte. Like, you can... The list goes on for a few guys. And that's... You know what I mean? Ozzy Albies, I'll respect what he's doing this season. He's, you know, definitely been better than he was last year. But, like, there's just guys who deserve to be there over him. You know what I mean? In the... You know, for catcher, I'm glad Drake Baldwin was the top guy. I feel like Matt Olson should have been the finalist or the first place guy, but granted, you know, doesn't really matter too much. There are some guys.
I can't believe Bowman's a finalist.
Bowman's a
like,
finalist is a ridiculous one. Bowman's a finalist is a ridiculous one. Now, obviously, we understand that, like, being a finalist does not automatically put you in the All-Star game. Like, you can be second in voting and just not get in.
Yeah.
But it just it doesn't mean that we can't look at it and say it's stupid. Like, we can still do that and also acknowledge that Bohm probably isn't going to make the All-Star game.
Yeah.
But also that him just being there is absolutely insane. You know, even on the other side, there's a few outfielders who, you know, some guys should probably be higher. Like we talked about last week, like Teoscar Hernandez being 4 when, you know, James Wood's not even in there, Jordan Walker's not in there, PCA's like 10th. You know what I mean? It's Corbin Carroll's like 12th in voting, which I still think is absolutely insane. Fucking Justin Crawford has more votes than Corbin Carroll now. Like, what are we doing? I think when we last did this, I think Adolis Garcia even had more votes, which is also insane. But yeah, so that's how all of that is shaping up right now. What is, like, the single most surprising thing here that you see?
Well, surprising is an interesting one, because obviously there are guys who don't necessarily deserve to be finalists, but surprising would be guys like, it's not surprising that Phillies players would be there.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say it would be like Bohm and Stott, just because, like, well, I'd say Bohm, honestly, just because I've seen so many Philly fans just hate on Bohm on Twitter. I feel like most Phillies fans hate Bohm. So the fact that he's a finalist is kind of interesting, considering it's like...
Do you remember when they booed him the one night? This was this year, obviously, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one was...
But I don't...
That was crazy. Like, it feels like they don't even fuck with him. And I'm not going to speak for Phillies fans. I'm not in Philly, so I don't know. But, no, you're right. Like, that one's crazy. I feel like that one is kind of like the AL second baseman one, where it's like, it's more so like... It shows you just how really weak that position is right now.
Yeah, because no one's, like, jumped out and really cemented themselves.
Yeah,
so.
like we said last week, no one, like, outside of Max Muncy is playing that well among NL third basemen. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really... it's just... it's ew. It's gross to look at. No disrespect, but... It's kind of gross to look at. I do think that some of the Blue Jays outfielders there is like really funny, like Jesus Sanchez and Dalton Varsho, like just on its own,
Yeah.
kind of funny. I do think the fact that like Kevin McGonigal is not a finalist is kind of crazy. Obviously,
Yeah.
like Kurtz not being a finalist is kind of nuts because just of how many votes Vlad got. Yanni Diaz not being
Yeah.
a finalist is kind of criminal. At the same time, it is it is what it is. I do think that pretending like this doesn't happen almost every year in some capacity is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You see the people saying they should ban Canada from voting in the All-Star game. Like, let's relax.
Yeah. Like, what does that even mean?
Let's relax now. Let's relax. Like, listen, show out. Show out.
No, here's why I don't like the excuse. Because there's no bigger like fan bases than the Dodgers and the Yankees. So how like if that was an excuse, why aren't they winning every player vote every year?
Mm-hmm.
It's just because their fans don't care to vote, which obviously makes sense because at the end of the day, it's the All Star game. People would watch regardless. But like, it just I don't know. I mean, it's interesting.
It is weird. I do feel like there's a bit of weird behavior towards it. Now again, people talk about the fan voting stuff every year, right? This isn't the first year that it's happened where guys have gotten voted in and they probably shouldn't have been there. It happens every year, right? Every single time there's someone on a big market team who it's like polar bear in Arlington, it's the meme with the soldiers with the guns peeking around the wall, and then in the middle there's a clown.
The clown.
With the 3 dragons, and one of them looks all derpy, and the other 2 look all serious.
Yeah.
Tear shit down. It's that. It's the same thing happens every year in some capacity. Not saying that it's correct or it's not. I'm just saying it happens.
Yeah.
Right? You can just go out and you can say that it's, it's stupid and this guy should have been there because, and honestly, in most cases, I would agree. Right? I would agree that Dingler should have been a finalist. Kurt should have been a finalist. McGonigal, Yandy Diaz, these guys, right? I would agree in probably almost every case. But also, let's not act like this doesn't happen every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these guys also that are finalists are not going to be all-stars, right? Like, someone like Alejandro Kirk, who missed a lot of time and hasn't been playing that well since he came back, is probably not going to be an all-star, assuming that Langeliers gets more votes, which I assume he would. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just probably going to happen. Because I think once it goes past that point, it's like coaches and shit, right? And then that's when they're not going to play the same game. They're not going to say, Andres Jimenez, you're going to the All-Star game. They're not going to fucking do that. Like, that's not going to fucking happen. Like, let's be for real with ourselves now.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is, I guess. Ethan, we got another thing to move on to, though. You know what it is, right? You know what day it is?
Well, what day is it?
It's June 27th. So you know what that means? It means it's our last show of the month.
Oh.
Now, it's monthly award time. Now, this is the first time that we're doing monthly awards before the end of the month. Now, if anyone remembers, in the very first show that we did our monthly awards was like, I think it was like our first show in May. I said that it was either going to be like our last show of the month or our first show of the next month, depending on what it was. Kind of up to our discretion, I guess. We're doing it today. Who gives a fuck? There's like a few more days left in the month, but who cares? We're not going to be back here for another week or so, and by then, we'll be a few days into July. I doubt things are going to change that much, right? I don't know about you, but I don't know if things would change with my balloting as much, so it is what it is. So here we are.
Fair enough.
We're doing our monthly awards for the month of June. So this one I feel like was the most fun to do out of any month. I don't know about you. Because, I feel like, last few months, it was a lot of names that, you'd expect to be on there. This month, it was like, all right. Like, I see you. You know what I mean? Some guys who are, not the super household names. You know what I mean? Which I respect. Who wants to go first, Ethan? You want me
it's
to
always
start?
nice to... You could start, but yeah, it's always nice guys who are not normally considered, elite players, I guess.
I'll start with my
Show up.
I'll start with my. Yeah, you're right. It's just to see new names up there, new guys tearing it up. It's nice to see. It's fun. I'm gonna start with my American League Player of the Month. I went with Jack Caglione of the
Yeah,
City
same
Royals.
here.
This guy, he got. You know what's crazy? Because he got off to. I feel like overall in the season, he's kind of getting overlooked, right? Which a few reasons. Number one is the fact that he plays with Bobby Witt Jr., who, you know, arguably the... I don't even think you can say arguably. I think he just is the best player in the AL right now. I say that pretty comfortably, too. But Caglione's numbers for the season are pretty good. Now, if you guys remember, he got off to a pretty rough start, right? At the end of May, he was a below average hitter. It was looking pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't it just wasn't looking great. But now this boy is killing, right? For the month of June, Jack Caglione is slashing 337, 418, 709. That is a 1128 OPS. Has a 372 ISO and a 205 WRC plus. That 205 WRC plus, mind you, is one of the best marks in all of ball. It is the single best mark in the American League over that span. And the only player in the AL who has more F4 in that span is Dylan Dingler, who also has been playing great as of late. Part of me wanted to choose Dingler, but I was like, fuck, man.
I thought about it, but... Yeah, I mean, 205 WRC plus 418 on base. I mean, it's just those numbers are overwhelming.
It is. They are. They're very overwhelming, you know? As good as Dingler has been, and I will acknowledge that, he's been absolutely tremendous. Caglione has just been incredible. He's been absolutely crushing the ball in a way that nobody else in the American League is. Even some of the best hitters like behind him this month, like Dingler, Jordan, Okamoto, Wyatt Langford, they're not there with him. As good as some of these other guys have been, they're just not quite on the level of that Caglione has been on. So that was my AL Player of the Month pick, but I will shout out some of those other guys too, you know, just while we're here. But yeah. Who do you have? So you had Caglione, I guess, too, for the AL, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fairs. Who did you have for the NL? I feel like this is an easy one.
But... I know, yeah, PCA. Yeah. It wasn't really close.
Yeah.
Not even...
Yeah.
I mean, this guy put up a 248 WRC plus, almost 3 F4 in the month alone, and it's not even the end of the month. There's a chance he gets to 3 WAR at the end of the month, for all we know, with how he's playing.
Yeah, in the last 3
he's hitting
days,
almost
he could do it.
400. He's slugging 824. I mean, holy shit.
His F4 is double the second best NL position player. Sorry,
bases too.
Sorry, let me correct myself. It is more than double.
Yeah. And his six stolen bases trail only Jazz and Bobby on the month.
This guy's stupid, bro.
And the only reason why PCA didn't have more stolen bases, I'd have to guess, is because he hit the ball too well to the point where he was just already at second base, or it was a home run or whatever, so he didn't get really...
Because
he didn't have many stolen base opportunities.
He also leads the NL in homers this month. Actually, I think technically after today's game, that'll be Hunter Goodman, because I think he went deep like twice today. But, regardless, it doesn't really affect much, but... You know what I mean? Because he's just been absolutely tearing this shit off the ball. Tearing the fucking cover off the ball. Like you said, he's hitting almost 400. He's hitting 396, OBP of 462, slugging 824. His WOBA is 533. His WRC Plus is 248, which anyone who is wondering like just how absolutely ridiculous that number is. Now, granted, I understand the number I'm about to cite is for a full season. 2002 Barry Bonds, he put up the best offensive year of his career. It was a 244 WRC plus. Now, granted, Barry Bonds is Barry Bonds, but that's just to put in perspective how ridiculous this number is. His
Yeah.
ISO was almost 430. That's insane. And again, we know that PCA has pop in his bat. We know that, right? He hit 30.
Yeah.
He hit 30 homers last year. And that was with him having an abysmal second half of the year. Everybody knew that there's pop in the bat. But oh my fucking god. This dude is ridiculous. And you know something that's kind of crazy? So,
Yeah.
you remember the first month of the season, he was off to a pretty poor start.
I thought you were gonna say something completely different.
What do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were gonna say something about how because you said what you said earlier. I thought it was gonna be something about how about the Mets because Mets gave up for like
The man. I mean, you're right. They didn't trade him
for Javi Baez.
You're right. But you remember how he got off to a really poor start. And like,
Yeah.
April ends and his WRC plus is like in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I noticed a thing here, right? Now, obviously, like, one of the big things with PCA last year, right, was that his chase rate was fucking terrible, right?
Yeah.
He was just connecting a lot, like, on pitches that were in the zone and that were kind of hittable, so it didn't really matter as much. But that was really what led to that slump in the second half, was his swing decisions were awful. And, start of the season it looked the same way. His walk rate, strikeout rates, weren't all that favorable. But since then, even in May, he was good. He was a 117 WRC plus hitter in May. But his walk rate has gone up by almost 4. Like, it's gone up like a little over 3.5%. His walk rate in March and April was 7. In June, it's 10.6. In May, it was 10.7. But, June, 10.6. Strikeout rate is down. Like,
It just goes to show that if he can kind of maintain this approach, he'll be one of the better hitters in baseball, period. Not just for like a couple stretches at a time in a year.
Yeah.
But he would be one of the best hitters just in baseball.
And with his defense, that would make him like
a top 5 player, probably, honestly.
Probably. Just off the dome, I'd say pretty easily a top 5 player. You know what I mean? Because, like, who would be better? You know what I mean? Like, you have a guy who would be hitting for, let's even say, just like a 130 WRC plus, right? That's more or less, I think, what he was in the first half last year, if I remember right. Plus, some of the best outfield defense in the league. In center field, no less. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many players I'd take over him if I'm starting like a franchise.
Absolutely, like that's ridiculous. This guy,
and that's not even crazy to say. I feel like, but some people will think it's crazy, just because like it's not like the funniest thing that I see is people that show like a PCA misjudging a ball, and then it's like, oh wow, PCA sucks. Why is he?
Oh my god!
Why do people be so good? And then it's like he has yeah, and then it had like a 5 or 10% catch probability, and no other fielders coming even like a country mile close to it.
Oh my god, man!
And the only reason it looks bad is because he got close to it.
Yeah, he's like one of the only people in the league who's going to get there in the first place. And also, like, yes, misplays happen, but also, how about every single other, one that happens where he's flagging it down and nobody's getting there, and he's creating outs that almost no other defenders are getting.
Yeah, like there's balls that guys would have to like jump and scale and dive for that he just makes it look routine, and people overlook it because he made it look routine.
Absolutely, like it's insane. He's
He's
good.
not. Yeah, he doesn't need the flashy plays to be a good defender. He makes the plays.
He doesn't need the crazy, wall scalers. And all of this other shit and the crazy dives. He can do that, but he doesn't need to do that. He makes the game look so incredibly easy that when he does fuck up, it's like, what the fuck's this guy doing? But then you realize, you sit there and you think for a second, you're like, yeah, he's probably the only one who gets even remotely close to this ball. So, no wonder it, just barely out of the reach of his glove or hit off his glove or whatever the fuck, or misjudged or something like that, right? Like nobody else is coming close. So, yeah, obviously it's going to look a little worse for him than a ball that he's nowhere close to that's splitting a gap. That, the average defender is nowhere near from, and it's a stand-up double. but for PCA, he almost catches the ball because he's that fucking good. Yeah, I don't think that I honestly don't think that this one is up for any discussion. This might be the easiest one that we've done all year. Like, single-handedly. We'll shout out some other guys, I guess, like Jackson Churio had a really good month. You know, as always, Otani is insane. He had a WRC plus over 200 during the month. We talked about Bo Bichette. He was really good. He was 5th in F4 in the NL this month. You know, do you want to guess who was 2nd in ISO this month?
In the month?
Yes, in the NL specifically.
What? Sorry, say that again.
I want you to guess who was so obviously first in ISO this month in the NL was PCA, obviously, right?
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Guess who's...
Well, if you're asking, it's not going to be someone like Shohei.
No, guess who's 2nd?
I don't know who had a good month. Jake Bowers.
No, Jake Bowers is.
Is it Hunter Goodman on like the road or something? Because I saw a stat where he's so much better on the road than at Coors.
No, but he's 3rd on the month. I didn't do any like other splits for this. It's just during the month.
Fair. Who is it?
It's Luis Garcia Jr.
All right. He has how many home runs this month?
He has 8 of his 13 homers have come in June.
I mean, geez, I guess this guy's like greatest.
He's crazy. It's ridiculous. Because since when was this guy slugging? Never.
Yeah.
This guy's... There's a decent chance that this guy breaks his home run total, and it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck are we talking about? Alright. I guess I'll go AL Pitcher of the Month. I got Drew Rasmussen.
Rasmussen. Yeah.
There were some other guys that I kind of considered a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But overall, I do think that, you know, this just simply was...
No, I mean, that's why I have too.
This was the guy. You could have convinced me on like a Gage Jump on a Ranger Suarez. You know, someone like Reed Detmers would have been in the
I thought Bryce Miller had a very good month too. Probably not worthy of winning it, but definitely a good month.
Yeah,
and
typical candidates.
I think.
Yeah.
I think the NL is pretty easy too.
The NL, like, okay, I actually don't. Yeah, like, I think we probably have the same guy. I don't think it's like a, you know, not think twice.
No,
I think
but it's
I am pretty comfortable choosing the guy that I chose, but I think there's another guy who's pretty close, and I don't really think you could be mad at somebody.
Are you talking about Webb?
Yeah.
Yeah, Webb had a very good month, but
yeah,
I mean, what the Miz is doing is crazy.
What Miz is ridiculous. You see, he hit 105.5.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen.
This is ridiculous because you remember before that, like his start before, he hit like 104 point something, and they rounded it to 1, and everyone's saying, "Oh my God, Miz hit 105 because they rounded it," and those people saying, "Well, can't really call it 105. It wasn't 105." And then he just went out his next start. He almost, if you round that one, it's 106.
Yeah.
He said, "Fuck all that." It's ridiculous. Yeah, Miz is on a complete different level right now. Like, it's ridiculous. He obviously, everybody knew that he had the talent even last year. His results weren't like quite there last year. Like, you saw you saw the talent, but the results weren't, you know, all the way there. He was pretty raw still.
Yeah.
But this season, holy fuck, man. Like, this guy's different. And we knew the stuff was there. We knew he could pump heat. But this is different. The big thing last year, right? Last year he was walking a lot of guys, right? His walks per nine was over 4. So the command wasn't great. This year's walks per nine are under 2.5. For somebody striking out over 13 guys per 9 innings and averaging over 100 miles an hour on your fastball, that's ridiculous. And for the month of June specifically, he was second in the NL in ERA at 0.96. He was second. Sorry, I don't have the NL only modifier on Fangraphs right now. That's my bad. Actually, never mind. Fangraphs doesn't want to turn it on, even though I selected it. Thank you. He leads the NL in FIP. Which, again, another completely mind-boggling one there. He is the best FIP in the NL at 182, second in ERA, only behind Logan Webb. He's first in expected ERA. He's first in F4. He is second among all qualified starters in strikeouts. Number one is Paul Skeens, typical candidate. He's just ridiculous. Like, he's insane.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Logan Webb. I think he's pretty close for this month at least. I don't think, quite there. The big thing for Logan Webb this month is he fucking just wasn't walking anybody.
Yeah.
0.58 walks per 9 is kind of insane. He was third in FIP at 224. You know who was second?
Who?
Braxton Ashcraft, my fucking dog.
Yep. He's been good.
Dog. He's been so good.
Obviously getting a bit unlucky, but...
Yeah, definitely got a bit unlucky in the month of June. His ERA is a little...
I was talking to my friend who's a Pirates fan. He was saying how, like, if only Pirates games ended in the 7th inning, meaning, like, if the results after 7 for them held, they'd be first in the league.
That's not shocking, because their rotation's insane.
Yeah.
And, their bullpen, they have some guys down there, but it's not like,
Yeah.
anything super, super crazy. You know what I mean?
Could we see an Aroldis Chapman reunion?
Definitely not out of the question. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot he was a Pirate. What year was that he went to the Pirates?
It was 2 years ago, because last year he was on the Red Sox the whole year, and it was 24 that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Honestly, not out of the question. Would kind of like to see it if they can get themselves back a little bit more back into the race. I know that they've been, slumping a little bit more as of late. I think they're a game under 500 right now, which is a little tough for them, especially in the NL. The NL's, doing pretty solid right now. But if they can jump back into the race a little bit more, I would actually really fucking like to see that. I can't lie. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a fucking fun one. You know who else has been surprisingly good this month? Fucking Foster Griffin. Foster Griffin's like a crazy one. That guy's been a straight goat in fantasy.
Back in the league, cooking.
He's cooking right now. We'll see how that holds for him, but those are some of the guys right now. I guess now it's time for the American League reliever of the month. There was a lot of guys that I kind of went back and forth on. The guy that I decided to settle on was Steven Okert.
Okay.
He did not allow an earned run all month. He was 5th in FIP at 157. Honestly, the tiebreaker between him and like a lot of the guys that were around him was honestly just like he had a few more innings than the other guys, which for relievers, like, you're splitting hairs, but a lot of these guys were so good that you have to find a way to, you gotta decide somehow. Like, you gotta split hairs somehow. Ynier Cano was also great. David Bednar. Tyler Wells was fucking locked down, nails. Chris Murphy in the White Sox was ridiculous.
I mean, I went a guy on the same team, actually. That's not him.
Okay.
I went Josh Hader.
Okay, fairs. Hey, respects, bro.
They've really turned it around in terms of...
They have, because they were terrible.
Yeah.
And they're still under 500, but they're like only a few games under. They're like, I think, what are they, a game out of a wild card right now?
Yeah, I think so.
They're above us, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, well...
Ugh, ew.
Not really hard to do, it feels like.
Yeah, bars in hell. That squad's they've been kind of cooking. The Astros have something going right now, and I mean, we'll see how it holds up, right? But they definitely have a little thing going right now. Like in June as well, Jeremy Payne has been hitting really well. Jordan's been doing his thing again, obviously. Isaac Paredes has been hitting really well. He is a 140 WRC plus in June. They have some guys who are fucking cooking. Absolutely cooking. So, I mean, we'll see how that continues too. Like, I think that there's a chance. Earlier in the season, I think they looked like bona fide sellers. It looked like, it was over, and I think we even said that on one of the episodes. We're like, it's time. They might be buyers. Like, if they stay hot and they're in a post, or like they're over 500 at the deadline, they're in a playoff spot, whatever, they're probably going to buy. Right? Like, I don't see why they would sell in either of those scenarios. So we'll see what we'll see what happens. And while we're on it, another guy who's been having really good results for them is Peter Lambert. His strikeouts and walks are pretty solid. The home run total is very, it's a little spooky. 193 home runs per 9. Granted, you can argue that isn't all that sustainable, which you would definitely hope at least. And, obviously a lot of their bullpen has been good, like Okert, Hader. Well, I shouldn't say like a lot of their pen, but, they have a few guys who are locking it down. Who's, like, been, like, low-key okay for them out of the bullpen this year? Or at least this month?
Who?
Nate Pearson.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've seen, like,
he's, like,
definitely better.
His numbers on the year are, like, good. Like, he's a 307 earned run average with a 365 FIP. Only pitched 11 games for him so far, but, like, in the big 26, Unk still got it. Unk still got it. Unk, 29, by the way. But, is what it is. All right, Ethan, who do you have over in the NL?
Yeah, this one wasn't really hard. I'm taking the guy who's both FIP and XFIP are in the negatives, and Yohan Duran.
Yeah, this one was very easy. All it took was one look. I saw his FIP right now. Obviously, it is the best in the NL. It is minus 0.49. Let me say that one more time for anyone who wasn't listening. His FIP on the month is negative minus 0.49. His expected FIP, if you want to say he's getting really lucky, okay, whatever. But his expected FIP is minus 0.43.
Other way around.
Or, 3.4, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, still a crazy, like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. And, you know what I mean? It's not like his ERA is high either, right? A 180 ERA, striking out 16 batters.
He didn't walk a guy this month, by the way.
Didn't allow a homer this month.
No.
And despite that, despite a 450 BABIP, by the way, he's putting up these numbers, which granted,
there are only 11 pitchers, qualified relievers this month who did not give up a walk, and he's one of them. And obviously, when you look at some of the other guys, you see guys who are, obviously struggling. Didn't have great months, except, he's one that sticks out because...
You know who one of those guys is?
Who?
Tim Meza.
Wow, my dog.
Shout out, King. Yo, he's another guy who didn't allow a run all month. And didn't allow a homer all month. 111 FIP in the month of June, by the way. Shout out Tim Meza.
Good for him.
Shout out Tim Meza. Listen, we're glad to see a brother thriving. A member of the 2021 Toronto Blue Jays. Shout out, because that's a squad right there. That's a squad.
Yeah, and the 2022 Toronto Blue Jays on the wild card team.
Oh my God, hell yeah! And then
he gave up a home run in game 2.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Carlos Santana drive.
All right. Let's relax. I don't need these memories, bro.
No, all jokes aside, I do not care at all about
I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore because we got our get back. We got our lick back, bro.
I'd rather blow that than fucking losing the ALCS.
Yeah, if that's what it took to get there, I would have been like, all right, you know what, you got it. Because I remember I was there for that game. I was like, son of a bitch, bro. That one took all the life out of me, that game. Because I was in person. I was like in center field that game. Not playing center field, of course. Unless I was and you just didn't know. But no, I was watching that game from behind center, and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, that
Yeah.
might be the worst one I've ever seen. Like that was a
Yeah.
bad one. I want to shout out one more guy though before we move on to our next thing. I want to shout out Luke Weaver, who has also had a terrific month and is also just having a terrific season in general.
Yeah.
He is excuse me. He is third in the NL and fifth this month, 0.64. Has not allowed a single run all month. Hasn't allowed a homer all month. Strikeouts per 9 on the month is over 12.5. His walks per 9 are also under 1. He has been incredible. He's been incredible this month. Him and Devin Williams have both been great this month. Him and Devo are third and fourth in the NL and fifth this month. Mets relievers are 3, 4, 5. If you can believe it. Considering they haven't been very good this month.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Not because of their bullpen. Because their back end of the pen, they've been shutting shit down. Everything else, though? Shit, man.
Yeah.
Shit, man. It's tough. It's tough out there. I'm sorry, Mets fans. I hope y'all get better. I hope y'all
Get well soon.
Get well soon, bro. Get well soon. I'll send flowers in the mail. I hope y'all send some back, because low-key we need some of that too right now. I can't lie. We need some of that. It's bad. It's not. I don't think it's quite as bad as them, but it's not good. All right.
Yeah.
We have one more. Well, I guess two more. We have Rookie of the Month for the AL and NL. I guess I'll start in the AL. I have a feeling we have the same guy here. I went Kaz Okamoto for AL Rookie of the Month.
Yeah, I mean, been having a hell of a month, hell of a season.
One of the top players, honestly.
Definitely no argument there for me.
Like, one of the best players, let alone like rookies in the month. Like, he's fifth in FWAR overall in the AL this month, right?
Yeah.
The only players ahead of him are Dingler, Caglione, Langford, and Witt, who, obviously none of whom have rookie eligibility. The only American League hitters who have been better than him this month are Dylan Dingler and Jack Caglione. 181 WRC plus in the month. Slashing 325, 389, 638, which is insane. I saw earlier today, I think him and Kurtz are like the only two. It was a certain OBP mark and a certain like RBI threshold. I don't remember which exact numbers were. I didn't save them, but I think it was 20 RBIs, like a 380 OBP or something like that. Whatever the number was, I don't remember, but he's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's hit some tanks this month, too. He went into the fifth deck.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't hit it into the fifth deck in the dome, bro.
No, that just does not happen much.
Who is the last person to hit it there? Because I don't remember. Or at least the last Blue Jay, at least. Because I can't.
I'm trying to think.
Because the last one I remember, I'm sure maybe there's probably been one that's happened since, or like a couple, but none that I would remember. The last one that I like remember is Josh Donaldson hitting it into the fifth deck against, I think it was the Reds in like 17 or 18. That's the last one that I can like very
that's
remember.
Because the Edwin one was there. I mean, either Edwin one was before that.
Yeah,
and then there was like a span where it didn't happen because
team was very good.
Yeah. Because I know Vernon Wells did it once or twice.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that Josh Phelps did it a couple times. I know Josh Phelps hit one off Clement the 500. Fucking insane.
Whew, back in the day.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Donaldson one.
Yeah, that's the last one that I can remember. And then until Kaz very recently cranked it up there. I was watching that. I was at work when that happened, and it was dead, obviously. So that's why, like, when it's dead at work, my boss just lets me watch the games on my phone. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. That happened. My jaw fucking dropped. I was like, what the fuck? Because, listen, we understand that Kaz has really good raw power. I'm sure we've talked about it on the pod before. Like, this guy will go 430, like, right center. Like,
yeah.
His raw power is ridiculous, and he pulls the ball, which is really good, but holy shit. You have to crank it to hit it up there. Like, The only guy, like, we were talking about, like, we just talked about a lot of the guys who were hitting it up there, right? Josh
Yeah,
Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion, Vernon Wilt, like, those are, like, that's, like, the big
yeah.
boys hit it up there. You know what I mean? You don't accidentally get, like, a Santiago Espinal fifth deck shot, right? The,
No.
the big boys hit it in the fifth deck. Like,
Yeah.
they flex the muscles up there.
Like it takes like it's so hard to do something like that.
You need power. Not even just power. You need power. Like all caps.
Yeah.
Like full
Yeah.
emphasis on every single part of the word. You need
Yeah.
big time pop to hit it up there. And that just shows you how fucking insane Kaz is. He's so good. I'm so happy that he's on my team. And I get to watch it. He's been one of the only redeeming qualities of the team this year. I can't lie. Because outside of him, I can't lie, this team is very hard to watch. It's very hard to watch.
Yeah.
A certain guy who, definitely has the capabilities to hit it up in the fifth deck, I'm not going to lie, he's been fucking unbearable to watch. It's been bad. But Kaz, he's been making it all worth it. Ethan, who did you have your AL Rookie of the Month? Or was it also...
Yeah, that's
it was Kaz, eh? All right.
Yeah.
So on that note, then,
player.
We'll go to the last one. Who did you have in the NL?
The NL, I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know.
You don't know? I feel like the NL rookie class this month wasn't like quite as strong.
Yeah, like I don't know who I would have to say would be like.
I went with AJ Ewing, but like, and don't get me wrong, AJ Ewing has been good this month, but when you look at a lot of the other ones, right? Like a lot of the other ones that we've chosen, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not like he's totally killing it. Like he's been good.
Yeah, one guy who I had on my short list was Joe Mack, because he, first of all, at the catcher position, that's obviously
true value.
Any hitting there is more value, but 162 WRC plus on the month, 4 home runs, on base just under 400. I mean, obviously not a great, like not too much competition this month. Like Eldridge was good, but I mean Joe Mack was objectively had a very good month.
Yeah, no, he was good. I decided to go with AJ Ewing. Obviously, he was pretty. He was pretty nice. He had a 131 WRC plus in the month. OPS of just about 820. Not 820. My math is terrible. I don't actually have the thing in front of me. Forgive me, y'all. I'm off it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, his OPS. Actually, sorry, my math was correct. It's 818. He had a pretty good month. I just feel like he was one of the better rookies in the NL this month. That's the main thing, is that I don't think the NL class was like, you know what I mean? There was nobody who was killing it on the same level. Like, for example, like Okamoto was. Like, Okamoto was like a top 3 hitter in the AL this month. No, none of the NL rookies on the hitting or the pitching side came close to that level of just absolutely dominating the game, right? Like,
yeah.
Nobody was really doing that.
Yeah.
But, AJ Ewing was consistently good throughout the whole month. You know what I mean? Just a really good player. Even if he wasn't top of the league, he was damn nice. So, for me at least, that's worthy.
Yeah.
And I believe, unless there's anything else that you want to get into really quick, I think that's kind of all we got.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, everyone, like we always say, thank you for tuning in. Whether it was, you listen to the whole thing, you scrubbed along really quick, or, you just listen to a few minutes, whatever it is. We appreciate it all the same, so thank you for that. We will see you in our next episode. Our next episode, it's going to be our first one in July, which means that we're getting that much closer to the All-Star game. We're getting that much closer to the trade deadline. Like, we're coming. Pause. We're coming for it, bro. Major pause, but we're
Yeah.
coming, bro. But yeah, hopefully, everyone enjoys the trash versus garbage series that is happening in Toronto, Canada this week for Major League Baseball. And yeah, we hope that for the people who are watching struggling teams, we hope that your teams don't do something stupid, on some Perry Manasian shit. We hope that your guys are locked in. Anyways,
Yes, we do.
we will see y'all later. We'll see y'all in July. Take care, y'all.